Welcome everyone. Today we are going to talk about a folk writer from Bihar. He is none other than Bhikhari Thakur. We all are aware about his name, his theme, his play, and the newness that he has given to the people of Bihar through his folk writer. We will also check what are the major contributions of Bhikhari Thakur in the folk writing of Bihar. Instead of waiting much time, let's directly start our presentation. So we will go with Bhikhari Thakur, and this is lecture by me. Before we start this presentation, let's see how to quote or how to cite this lecture. You can start by my name, Kasyap Deepak, 2023, and the title, that is Bhikhari Thakur, A Forgotten Tornado of Bhojpuri Folk. Then video, then YouTube, and thereafter its link. So now let's move directly again to the theme. If we look at the folk writing, then we should check why to read folk writing. Nowadays, many people are writing so much. Every year, thousands of novels, short stories, books, or drama get published. Which one to read and which one not to read? Among this, there is one bunch of writings that are called folk writings, especially in India, which are nearly invisible from the academia. We have a bit of work in this, but they are not given much emphasis. If we look at the term postmodernism, what it denotes, if we go with the famous author Letard, in his famous book, The Postmodern Condition, A Report on Knowledge, 1979, he defined postmodernism as incredulity towards meta-narrative and any grand theory by preferring small narratives as they are full of layered stories. This is the thing we can find mostly in our folk writing. In that sense, we can say folk of a country are stay and the area is small narrative which needs attention and contains several new stories. In that sense, again, if we go with the letters, another definition that is in the essay answering the question, what is postmodernism? And that you can find in the book, The Postmodern Explained to Children, published by Sydney Power Publication, 1992. And the quotation runs, the postmodern would be that which in the modern invoke unrepresentable of presentation in itself, which refuses the consolation of correct form, refuses the consensus of taste, permitting a common experience of nostalgia for the impossible and inquiring into presentation, not to take pleasure in them, but to better produce the feeling that there is something unpresentable. This is the main thing that our most of the drama that we have with ourselves. But if we go with the thing revival, that is the term we can use with this folk, because most of the folk are not studied in academia, let alone translated works. In that sense, a revival of it is most needed. For a type of revival already started in the beginning of 20th century, but in Indian literature, that is mostly written in English. In that sense, we can say a revival is the need of the hour for folk writers. Before expecting a romantic hope of revival in the coming years, we, the researcher, should stretch our soul with the question, whose revival will it be? Although the word revival of Indian writers who were writing in English already started, And some of the famous works in that is Priyamda Gopal's The Indian English Novel, Nation, History and Narration, Makarand Pranjpe's Another Canon, Indian Text and Tradition in English, Susela Nasta's Home Truth, Fiction of South Asian Diaspora in Britain, and Rumami Rana Sinha's South Asian Writers in 20th Century. But if we look at these texts or the authors in them, then they are those writers who were earlier very popular. Most of them are writing in English or they belong to a particular literary movement. And that is why they were revived. If we look at today's time, then there would be hardly some research that is that is on Sarojini Naidu. That is the thing that these writers are doing. They are reviving these forgotten authors. So although they are successful to reconstruct the forgotten but precise literary historiography of Indian authors, yet in their chronological reattempt, whether consciously or unconsciously, they focus on the writer either earlier famous or belong to a particular literary movement like PWA, Progressive Writer Association. In that sense, we can say writers like Sajjad Jahir, Rasi Jahan, Ismat Chugtai, Sadat Hassan Manto, Faiz Ahmad Faiz, and many other were revived because they belong to a particular literary genre, that is Progressive Writer Association, a political movement or literary movement started in 1935. And although most of these writers were in Urdu, but their revival is in English. In that sense, we are having several things as a revival, but that revival is missing from folk writings. So we are in dire need of revival of folk writings. But will the folk revivals only is the solution? Then let's check it. Then what is the importance of folk? Then folk writings are totally full of amazing themes and content, but most of them are dying without translation. Most of the folk are unpublished and there is a chance of theft in their writings. For example, in Haryana, several folk writers died without publishing their works. As a result, their works are published by the name of other poets. For example, Dayachan Maina's works by the name of Meher Singh, Sultan Singh Rohat's work by the name of Lakshmi Chand, and Sultan Singh Sastri's works by the name of Baje Bhagat. And these are most popular writer nowadays in Haryana's folk writing, but the original writers are forgotten, all because they're important and the most popular works published by the name of someone else. That remains the theme, that remains the point, that importance of folk can be checked, what we say, but folk is not just by it. Folk can also be used to give our literature, not only to ourselves, but to the whole world. For example, take the Sangam literature. Just 70, 80 years, academic world in English was unaware about Sangam literature. But suddenly A.K. Ramanujan came to the scene and translated some writing of Sangam literature. And now it is a sensation in world literature. Similarly, Tomb of Sand, a novel recently get a translation Booker Award. We know earlier writer was invisible, but then it comes. But apart from this, what more about this folk and why revival is important, or what is the importance of folk, we can understand by next 3 points. Not much information is available about folk, especially in print form. For example, Hung, that is lyrical folk drama of Rajbansis of West Bengal. And in the picture corner below, left-hand corner below, we can see that is the folk culture of Rajbansis from West Bengal. And if we go by poetic opera of Haryana on the top, we can see how it is represented. Then there is nothing much in written or published form, especially in English. If we want to promote our literature to other countries, then the folk is most important, and how it can be important in revitalizing the literary domain, and that we can find by Bhikhari Thakur. And there is no better than Bhikhari Thakur in that sense. If we look at Bhikhari Thakur, he was born 1887 and died 1971. Most of the regional and folk writers in India, including Bhikhari Thakur, are not given much desired attention. As a result, they lost their importance in the limbo of history. Such writers gradually forgotten by the academic world. In that sense, we can take three examples: Haryana's Dayachand Maina, West Bengal's Jibananda Das, and thirdly, Kashmir's Dinanath Nadim. And here we can see the pictures on the below, all of three: Haryana's Dayachand Maina, Jibananda Das, and Dinanath Nadim. These were very popular, but they were not given much importance. Although later on they get name and fame, but even today, most of them are forgotten. In that sense, the value of Bhikhari Thakur is more as compared to other, because he is one who is giving voice to the voiceless through his dramas in regional language. And if we look at the title of his dramas, then we are having here 12 of his dramas. One is Bidesiya, second Garab Gichor, Beti Bechua, Bhai Birod, Bidhwa Bila, Kalyug Prem, Rahade Syam Bahar, Ganga Snan, Putra Vadu, Birha Bahar, Nanan Bhajai, Nakal Bhan Ke Natu. If we go about his early life, then Bhikhari Thakur belonged to downtrodden or born in Kutupur village situated at the confluence of river Ganga and Son in Bihar. People of this region migrate to other districts, state, and countries in order to earn their livelihood. Bhikhari Thakur too migrated to Kolkata to earn living. In case of his caste, he belonged from Thakur caste, that is Barbar community, which comes at the lower strata of Chaturvarna system. He used Bhojpuri folklore to narrate the story of his community, ordeal, courage, humanity, and to affect social change. Most of his stories are reformative in one sense or other, or highly satirical. The work, if we look at the drama series, then earlier we go with Kalidas and Govindas, and they are adored for their theater, acting, performance, which mostly include folk narrative. However, Bhikhari Thakur was different, as he never performed on big stage, or their dramas like drama of Kalidas, his dramas are not performed on big stages. His troupe and fellow artists performed for the common people, a theory which make him popular among common masses. And when we talk about the common people, it is similar like we are going for Ramlila kind of thing, where dramas are performed on the open stages. That is why Bhikhari Thakur become highly popular among the people of Bihar, especially the lower communities. If we look at his drama, then Videsiya is one of his groundbreaking work, and that is defining three things: migration and women. In this, these two play like Videsiya and Garabhagishore, he talks about the issue of migration and its impact on the family of migrant laborers. Videshiya shows the impact of migration on poor families and on those who migrated to other cities, towns, and countries in order to earn livelihood. Bhikhari Thakur himself was one who had to migrate to Calcutta to get his livelihood. He referred the place of migration as Pardesh, foreign land, and that is why the title is Videshiya. If we look at the theory of diaspora, then we can find several things like if a person visiting from England to France, then somewhere around 200-kilometer area, the country is changed. If France to Germany, hardly 200 kilometer, then the country is changed. And in the same way, Italy, France, or whatever country, in hardly 200, 300 kilometers, a country is changed, and that's why they are called foreigners. But in case of India, where the area is too large, people are not counted as diaspora or migration. That is the simply migration within a country. But if we look at the area, then the area is too large. In that sense, we are having the theme of Videshiya, and Videshiya is a text or a drama that can be compared with the movie Judai, 1997. Anil Kapoor performed a role in which the husband is sold by the wife to the other women. And here too, we are having the family life where main character visit Calcutta and live there. There he fall in love with another woman, have children, but ultimately he comes back to his home, and the wife too follow him from the Calcutta, and now he is having two wives at home, and the both wives lived happily with one another. So that is a type of theme that you will rarely find in other drama, that a traditional woman is accepting another woman for her husband. If we go more deep in Videshiya, Garab Gichor, then it is more like a satire, not only on the city life of Calcutta, but also on court system. Court is the most trustable institute of the world in each country, you can say, but authors are hostile against it. If we look at Vijay Tendulkar's Silence the Court is in Session, or Jonathan Swift, Gulliver Travels, or Charles Dickens' Oliver Twist, or Henry Fielding, Joseph Andrews, or Haryani's movie Lado, that is National Award-winning movie, then in these texts, writers in one way or other criticizing the justice system. And that justice system is mostly praised by all in different way, but writer look at in a different perspective. But if we look at Garab Gichor's characterization, then we are having Galij, that is a married Bihari migrated to Calcutta to earn living. Dukhya, his wife and mother to Gadbadi, son, Gadbadi's son. And Gadbadi is a tramp of village and father of Gichor. Then Gichor is son to Dukhya, but by Gadbadi. That is extramarital affair. Punch the 5 jury of village panchayat. In the end, that story turns this different way, that Galis comes from Calcutta, and he say that I will take my son back to my land, but I will not take my wife. And then this way the matter reached to the Panch, that is the Panchayat, and the case went on, and suddenly Galis came and he said that this son is mine, and the case happened, and Panch gave the decision that the boy will be divided into 3 equal parts. One to mother, second to Galis, and third to the Gadbadi. But when the executioner is called, the mother, heart filled with remorse, and she say, no, I will not take my credit, and instead of killing the boy, give it only to one person. But then there is fight between Gadbadi and Galige, that they want to take the child. But later on, the conscience happened, and Gadbadi or Galige, neither of one get the boy. Instead, Dukhya was given. Now, this the theme is relevant and most important, because here the motherhood is shown. But if we look at the play ending, then the play is open-ended. Although for the 15 years, Dukhya look after her son by her own without any aid, either from Gliese or Gerberi. Now open-ended, saying that with whom Dukhya go after this case, and that is untold in us. Rather, son says, the son Gichor said, who do not respect parents have no right to live in this world. And but if we compare the ending of Gabar Gichor to the Haryanvi movie Lado, then we are having totally different. Nearly the same thing happened, but in different way. In the end, the Panchis are having their, the wife is having child. That by other character, not by husband, because husband was living in Calcutta. And when husband come to Panchayat, instead of taking any ill will against the wife, he say that I will take care of this wife. And he take wife to Calcutta, although she conceived a boy by his own brother, means brother of hero. If we look at this, then Panchis we are seeing in picture, the three things here in this text are important. One is justice system. Second is Calcutta. We will talk about this Calcutta theme later on, and a deep about this Panchis later on. But the thing is that how court is giving justice, that is a kind of thing that no one is able to understand. How court say that boy will be divided into three parts. That is even more disturbing, which show that Panchis have lost their senses of justice. Although if we go to the next text, then is marriage inequality. India is a state or a country where marriage inequality is there. You can find simply that most of the time, girls of small ages are married to the man of higher age, all because they are rich, having money, and the people, girl side, are poor. And the marriage inequality is one of the most bizarre problem of Indian society, especially in the state of Haryana and Punjab, where there is scarcity of marriageable girls. And the reason remains Haryana and Punjab killed their girl theatres in mother's womb by preferring boy over them. When large number of girls are killed, then there was no girls left for marriage. And that is why many of the boys have to go unmarried. And hence they find other states and they purchase wives from there. And that purchasing of wife is very trumpet in last 20 years. And BBC article, The Story of India's Slave Bride, that is in November 25, 2014, cites Safik ur Rahman, who is founder of the NGO Empower People, that traffickers target the poorest village of states, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Bihar, Odisha, Assam, and West Bengal. So they take women from there and get them married to the boys of Haryana and Punjab. And another article that is by Al Jazeera news channel, that title is Sold Like Cows and Goats, India's Slave Brides, describes there is a high demand of brides in Haryana. And similarly, again, 11 years ago, Al Jazeera makes a documentary, Slavery, a 21st century evil bride slave, that is on November 16, 2011 for international trafficking of women, including India. And there again, 5 years later of this article, they come with a video, India Slave Bride, November 2016. In all, they define how women are purchased from the poor states like Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Assam, and Bengal. And that shows how women are taken as a commodity. And on the other right hand side, we can see the article snapshot, the story of India's slave bride. And there are things this theme is also defined in folk writing, but in a different way. For example, several folk writings define the inequality of marriage, like in Dayachan Maina's famous play, that is Neelam to Kraj. Although Bhikhari Thakur too portrayed in Beti Bechua or Beti Biyog, but during the time of Thakur, the problem was not as evil as rampant as it is today. In Haryana, this marriage or slave bride kind thing is very popular, and by jokingly, Bihar is referred as Sasural. If we go by the gender ratio of the states of Bihar, Haryana, and Punjab, then in the year 2011, as per Census of India, Bihar is having 918 women over 1,000 men, Haryana 879 over 1,000, and Punjab 895. It shows how women are less. In case of Haryana, they killed the fetus of child in the womb of mother, and in case of Punjab, most of the women fly to Canada, America, England, Australia, and hence there is scarcity of women. So once there are less women, then they are migrated from Bihar. And this was the same theme that Bhikhari Thakur is defining in the play Beti Bechua, which means selling of daughter. This depicted how poor are used as a tool by the rich people, that rich, old, but unhealthy person marries a young girl so that she can take care of him. Although the picture is not of the theme, it is a random picture to define what is the scene, that old person is married to a young girl. That if we talk about play, then it highlights the case of unequal and child marriage, of how Lobha and Chatak, these are two characters, husband and wife, who sell their daughter Upato, that is name of child, to a rich man, Jantul, who is a rich, old, unhealthy person. But overall of these plays, if we go again with this Beti Bechua theme, that court scene is most important. When the girl finds, after reaching at the home of in-law, that husband is old and she cannot give her all the things, desired thing that a youth needs, she runs away from the home. And a girl is having only two destinations, either home of husband or the home of parents. She runs to the home of parents. And now the husband to follow, because he legally married and he want his wife back to his village. But the girl wasn't interested to go there. That is why the court was called. And once court was there, then the punches say, they listen everything. They criticize the parent, Lobha and Chatak, for marrying their daughter to an old person just only to save the money that to be spent on her marriage. But again, the court gave a controversial decision that legally the man has married the girl. So the girl must be sent to the home of husband. In that sense, we find that court is not doing justice, rather it is following the man-made rules and a hardcore line that women will go at the home of husband even though he is old. So that is again a critique not only on the unequal marriage but also on the court system and how people look at women as a commodity. And again, if we go to the next, that is Kolkata. This Kolkata plays a vital role in play of Bhikhari Thakur. Although all plays are having some characters, some are important, some are not, but one thing that we often missing is Kolkata as a character in Bhikhari Thakur. Yes, Kolkata can be seen as a character in his play, and he is a living character that changes the life of people, and mostly for the newly married girls. And for these girls, it was a villain. If we go and check the other states, example from Haryana's award-winning movie Lado, then Arvind, the husband of Purni, was an employee in Calcutta. He left behind his wife in village where she fall in love with Inder, that is brother to Inder, Arvind. Similarly, in Garab Thakur's Gabar Gichor and Videsia, two have the evil city which separates wives from husband. So both, either it is Lado, Gabar Gichor or Videsia, Calcutta is enemy, a villain that separates two companion soulmates from one another. That is perspective of women. However, may look at with a new angle. For them, Kolkata emerged as a land of survival for working class people, especially for the working and educated mass. In that sense, if we check Arvind, who was educated, went to Calcutta as a word. However, in the works of Bhikhari Thakur, Kolkata is referred as Pradesh, a foreign land, and being a first-hand experience of the city, Thakur depicts the hardship of migrant worker in itself. But the history of Calcutta is very different, as we know that it is the economic capital or the capital of India till 1911, although it continued to work till 1933, 1934, and so on. So most of the economic activity, educational hub, politics, everything was in Kolkata. That is why people like to visit that state, or that small city that is part of Bengal. But today we know that Calcutta is part of Bengal. But the time when Bhikhari Thakur was writing about these play, then Calcutta, Bengal at that time means Bangladesh of that time, part of Bihar also, as well as some part of Odisha. So all these area in combined make the West Bengal, and in that West Bengal we are having Calcutta. And again, Calcutta has a different life. For worker, it was a place of working opportunities, but for women, it was Bidesh, foreign land, and a land that is full of prostitute, malaria, pan, cigarette, soap, and but not. All in all, Kolkata is a place that take women away from their husbands and force them to suffer. And in case of Videsia, hero is having extramarital affair with the women in Calcutta. The fear of wife was totally true, that husband become trap of educated women over there. If we go, each writer has some speciality in it. Bhikhari Thakur is popular for giving Launda Naach, that is dance of boys. The root of this dance in Bihar moves till 11th century, and it is a popular folk dance in this area. In this form, in this form of dance, man is in disguise as women, hence the term Londa, translation boys. That dance is very popular. If we go to Ram Lila, Natak, and other mandlis, we are find that boys are dancing in the guise of women. But even if we go back to the history of other countries, especially the Elizabethan drama, French drama, or American, if there is, then entry of women was prohibited. Similarly, Bhojpuri theatre was all male cultural troupe, as the role of female were performed by male artists. If we look at the reason of this, the reason seems to be in the fact that dance, which was prominent feature of these arts, was vigorous type. Probably the religious background associated with the saints may have also discouraged female company in the performances. These are two quotations by Rangacharya, page 68, and Puran Chand, page 82. So Rangacharya's Ada, Indian Theatre, that book published by New Delhi National Book Trust 1971, and we are having page number 68. And Puran Chand Sarma's History Haryanvi Song, Ek Barsilan, which means Haryanvi Folk A Diligence, that is published in Panchkula, Haryana's Granth Academy 2021. And if we look at dance of women, boys and men, then we are having that picture in the very middle where half part of a character is male and half is female. On the very right hand side corner, we are seeing a man, that is a boy, is getting cosmetics to be a woman. On the top of the side, we are having Haryana. Haryana's picture in the black, we are seeing that a man has man is in dress of girl. That Launda dance is not only for the area of Bhojpuri or Bihar, but most of the drama, either it is Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan, Jammu Kashmir, or whatever, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, everywhere the role was played by boys. Even in Ram Lila, we see that boys are dancing something like that. And one of the most popular Launda dancer is Ramchandra Manjhi, who was last disciple of Bhikhari Thakur. He was awarded Padam Shri in 2021, somewhere around at the age of 97. And we can see on the left side corner his picture with the Honorable President Ram Nath Kovind ji, and he is taking award. And here is a picture when he performed on Vidosiya Launda dance at the age of 97. So this Launda dance is giving the type of effeminacy, and you can compare it with Lord Shiva is having a half part of male and half part of female, that is effeminacy. And but each country or state or area is given name and fame by some artist, but these artists legacy cannot be taken forward by the future generation. They engaged or they brought some things which hurt the sentiment of people, and not only of language and area. And such thing is the nakedness that we are seeing in modern Bhojpuri songs. Like Bhikhari Thakur took Bhojpuri language at its peak, but the future generation were not able to handle his legacy and caught up in the trap of nakedness, which the language will soon improve, although it is a criticism, but criticism is the first step, positive step for improvement. And we can understand by the point that 10 years ago, Bollywood cinema and North India criticized South cinema for their accent content. But today, the South Indian stars and movies are ruling Indian cinema. They are getting awards, different types. We can take another example. 10 years ago, Haryanvi songs were criticized by the neighboring states. But today, its popularity crossed not only Haryana, but nationally or internationally. It might possible that in the next 10 years, there would be something extraordinary in Bhojpuri songs, and it will get the same value that it used to have at the time of Bhikhari Thakur. So this is what we have in our lecture of today, and we hope that these themes, especially about nudity, absurdity, that would be removed by the singers of Bhojpuri, and it will achieve name and fame and success that it used to have at the time of Bhojpuri. Today, we are nearly forgetting Bhikhari Thakur. Although Mahatma Gandhi Central University is trying to revise at least one PhD in Hindi is going on it, one MPhil dissertation in English by Akash Pandey is done on the same topic. One student is going for master's research work on that. In that sense, we are seeing that Mahatma Gandhi Central University, Motihari, Bihar is trying to revive this famous author from Bihar, and soon he will be in the academia also, not only in the masses. So this lecture is also a step to include Bhikhari Thakur in academia, not only in just among the masses. Although we can find most of his dramas on YouTube, but the thing is that apart from YouTube, he deserves critical acclaim, and which can be done in the universities. And for that, we are trying to do whatever is in our capability. So this is what we have for today. And next time we will also cover Bhikhari Thakur, another plays, and that would be the second lecture in this league. So with this, today we are coming to an end. Thank you. Take care. Best of luck. Yes, and if possible, spread this video for Bihar and Bhikhari Thakur. Take care. Best of luck.